Guys, we're here with the man himself, Mr. Robyn Markland from Redline Shipping. Let me say, start off with, if you're not using Redline Shipping, I don't know what you've been doing, but I could tell you before I was ever in business with Robyn, which full transparency is a sponsor, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. I was a customer, and the difference is real. The difference is palpable. And as you know, the team that you surround yourself with is, excuse the language, but straight up badasses. The concierge service, the knowledge, the care. Thanks, man. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's what we're trying to provide.
Yep.
And now we're best friends. So happy to have you out here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And
yep.
So this is our it's a Denver show,
right?
But it's not actually Denver. We're south of Denver in Castle Rock, Colorado, which is actually my hometown.
So it's a real hometown.
Yeah, it is really literally a hometown show.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
Last week was Phoenix.
Right.
And this week's the third show in a row. But being at home makes all the difference.
Yeah, I feel that when I'm out vending. Like if I do Green Bay and Tinley back to back, that's exhausting. Minneapolis show, I'm home at night in my own bed.
Yep.
You know, it just makes a world of difference. So what are your overall impressions? The first time that this show's been done, new promoters, and God knows you've seen a hell of a lot of shows. What boxes is it checking for you?
I mean, to be honest with you, I was a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
We've tried to have a great Denver show for a long time. And there's been some pretty solid efforts. Reptile Nation show last year was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. But to take on a new show and like, hey, I'm going to launch a new branded show.
Right.
It's a really big bite.
Yeah.
And Troy and Nick are really smart guys. Yeah. But I still thought, holy crap, that's a big bite.
Yeah.
And they've crushed it.
Yeah.
They've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
The social media reach and the marketing, the advertising, getting the word out for a new show has been off the charts. Fantastic. And today, aisles are crowded, tons of people here. I do my regular thing. I go around and talk to vendors and get their feedback. How's the show? How's your day? How's engagement? How are sales?
Right.
And I mean, a lot of people are having a really good Saturday.
I similarly, obviously, don't have the same connections yet, but I have a lot of connections, and the breeders that I know, you know, every one of them said animals are moving, business is being done in the room. Not to be the snobby breeder, but they're not getting a whole lot of petting zoo crowd.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's really great for the vendors. And I think maybe Nick and Troy's experience as breeders and vendors probably gave them some insight into who they wanted to attract and the setting of the show. It's really nice to have breeders at the helm.
100%. They have a good insight and feel for what, as a vendor, you want to see, what kind of relationship you want to have with the promoters.
Yeah.
Right? What kind of support system they can put in place. And yeah, like I said, they've really crushed it. At least 60% of Nick's credit goes to his wife, Lauren, who's just killing it behind the scenes.
All of us, right? At least 60%.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So she's done an amazing job.
Right.
She runs, I thought it was Nick. But I learned Lauren does like the Instagram page and social media stuff. So she's doing the stories and the lives and the videos and the promotional posts. And it's been everywhere. We brought my neighborhood neighbors to the show today.
Oh, cool.
Non-reptile people.
Oh, is that who you were touring around?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay.
They wanted to see what I do.
What do you do? Right.
Yeah, because it's hard to understand, especially if you've never been to a show. But we stopped and talked to Nick.
Yeah.
And she was like, holy crap, I've seen your advertising for the show.
Oh, cool.
So she's not in the reptile world at all.
Right.
And yet on her social media feed and on her page and on her interaction areas, she's been seeing advertising for the show, promotion for the show. And what really makes this show stand out is the plant.
I was just about to ask,
I wanted to jump the gun and get to you on the
I hadn't even told you I was going to ask about it. But yeah, the juxtaposition of the plants and the reptiles. What are you seeing on that?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that neighbor, she's much more interested in plants.
Did she take any home?
She literally just walked out the door with my wife, and they both had arms full of plants.
I didn't realize that's who that was. Yeah, I saw it. They had the
boxes and boxes of plants.
Yeah.
So, like, the idea that she's outside of our world,
Right.
and yet she's still seeing advertisement, marketing for the show, tells me that how effective that Lauren's been, how effective their team's been in reaching that audience. And then today, we had a really strong crowd to start. The weather here sucks today. It's snowy. It's almost May. It's snowy and very slushy.
Yeah.
And that can be discouraging for folks to want to get out of the house. And even though we still have a really nice crowd, I want to talk about the plant vendor stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know jack shit about plants.
Right.
My wife is a master gardener. She's a plant obsessed person. That's her world.
Yep.
And we have Tagawa Gardens here. Yeah.
First, right when you walk in the door, first impression. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is essentially the premier nursery in Denver.
Oh, cool. All right.
That is, if you're a plant nerd, you go to Tagawa.
That's who you, okay.
The best selection, best staff. Odd thing, they also sell pies.
Okay.
So they have
they're selling snakes and plants.
Yeah.
Plants and
Nikki,
pies.
my wife Nikki goes out to Tagawa. She brings home a bunch of plants, and then she brings home like 4 or 5 of these pies, and they're delicious.
Yeah.
So I like that part. But to get that huge vendor from that premier nursery in Denver to come and do their first ever show,
right,
is monumental.
Big score.
And that's a huge step in establishing a plant presence in a reptile show. What more symbiotic relationship can there be today?
Yep.
Right? I bred animals in the 1990s, and we did them in sweater boxes, on newspaper, with a water bowl and high spot.
Yeah.
Today, in 2024, we're looking at naturalistic setups. We're looking at bioactive vivariums and terrariums, and it's more of what we used to call the European style, where they're putting more effort into the soils and the plants and the things in there. So today, the plant vendors and the plant sellers, it meshes seamlessly for the reptile thing. And there's been a couple efforts to do a plant reptile show together. I've never seen such a strong effort that Nick and Troy made.
Right. And not explicitly. I've seen on both the Florida circuit and the Midwest circuit, reptile vendors that are also vending plants, but the distinct reptile and plant vendor, the expertise in both areas is new.
Yeah, and a lot of our reptile companies are selling plants. Joshua Schwag sells a ton of plants.
Yeah.
I think Pangea sells plants. Triple L sells plants. But like to your point, those are reptile people selling plants. Right?
Yeah.
Here at this show, we have big nursery vendors. They don't know jack shit about snakes.
Yeah.
They sell amazing plants.
Right.
And then on top of that, then we have boutique plant folks here that have, instead of a big island of plants like Tagawa's, right across from Tagawa's, there's a single booth.
Sure.
That's a boutique plant seller.
Yep.
And then against that wall, I was just over there, and there was a vendor, 2 tables. And then a few more tables down, another single table vendor specializing in plants.
Right.
Again, they don't know anything about reptiles, amphibians.
No.
They certainly don't know anything about spiders and things. Their thing is plants. And I think to bring those folks into our world and to incorporate them into our shows is nothing but positive.
On that way of the whole goal of reptile exposure and honestly part of the core of why I started my show was to help to normalize reptile ownership and industry and show the clean, improved, polished side of it. And that is a great audience and clientele to show and experience what we're doing. Somebody told me that, a city commissioner had gone to Dallas and was amazed because they thought it was like a flea market.
A flea market swap.
A third world country of just dust and reptiles. And it's beautiful and it's not that whatsoever.
Yeah, I was there at the Dallas show. And that Fish and Wildlife agent was blown away. She had no idea this is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, she thought it was in a barn with a hay on the ground and a bunch of dirty looking animals and setups. She was like, "This is really professional.
Right.
This is amazing. I'm seeing all these species I've never seen before." She was incredibly excited about it and took photos and videos, and it was all positive. Yeah. So for today, that there are plant focused folks coming into this show. Yeah. And then they're walking. Yes. And then they're walking by the gecko breeders. And they're walking by the snake breeders. Yeah. And right behind the camera here is a giant retic breeder.
Massive.
And
And
yes,
how big is that cage? 12-foot cage?
it's a 10-foot cage.
10-foot cage. Okay, yeah.
And there's some 10+ foot snakes in there. So they might walk a little further away from those,
Right.
but they're looking at them.
Yep.
Or they're going by Pangea here on our other side and seeing different geckos and seeing different plants and dry goods and starting to wrap their brain around what we do.
Yeah. And hey, maybe what does it take to maybe they're talking to a new gecko owner right there. What does it take to own a gecko? And I have these plants and I have terrariums in the wintertime in Colorado. Yeah.
So my neighbor, Susan, she came to see the plants with my wife, Nikki, and her daughter now wants a Leachianus gecko.
There you go. I mean, those are good
Right?
things.
That's the hook, right?
That's the hook.
That
It's
is the hook.
industry. Yeah, that's what we want. How about we switch gears to talk about, you're always cooking up something at Redline. What do you got on the horizon? What are new offerings? You're always fidgeting in the lab. And speaking of fidgeting, I know you probably have this just as a fidget, but you should talk about, I use that
My scraper.
daily.
This is one of our Redline Science scrapers. I mean, technically it's a cage cleaning scraper, right?
Yeah.
It's a tool.
Yeah, I clean the tubs with it daily.
Yeah. From my brain, it's a fidget gadget. I just hold it like a pen and poke myself with it and flip it around in my hand.
Literally the other day, I had a snake that's got a tooth lodged, a broken tooth lodged in the roof, which will happen. And I needed something to pry open the mouth to send the video to the vet. Yeah. I took the flat end, pried it right open. It's right on the reel on Instagram.
Yeah.
But those are all the Redline Science things. I use them all the time. That's not, I mean, yes, again, we're in business together, but I would use them anyhow. They're totally useful.
Yeah, I love plastic scrapers. I love those things. We do our stainless steel tools, hemostats, and stuff. Yeah, great products.
Did I see a new, perhaps a morning beverage that I might have been interested in?
There is a Redline coffee.
Redline coffee. What the?
We're working with cold-blooded caffeine.
Cool.
They've done a lot of cool coffees with different breeders, and they let you kind of choose the origin of your coffee. And so maybe, I mean, I've seen like New Caledonian gecko breeders.
Yeah,
will have like a New Caledonian caffeine.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Bean.
Right.
That makes they use for their coffee. I went in a different direction. I have some really great friends from India, and they showed me their coffee approach, which was to include chicory into the coffee. Yeah. And so I started drinking that a couple years ago. I love it.
Really?
And I just mix it myself.
Yeah.
So I approached cold-blooded caffeine about it. I was like, look, might as well do Redline coffee.
Yeah.
And I want to do a chicory blend. So ours is a coffee and chicory blend. And the chicory doesn't really add any specific flavor. Still tastes like coffee, but it takes off the bitterness part.
Okay.
And so it makes it smoother. And I like my coffee cold.
Yeah.
And it makes
a nice cold brew.
Oh, my God. It's terrific cold brew. Yes.
So I'm full transparency. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, you got a coffee. What'd you do? You slid the bars. Is it dark? Is it light? Is it medium? And then you just blow it. You're like, no, actually, we have chicory in ours, and nobody else has that. It's totally different. Yeah, nobody. Very cool.
I love it. The other cool thing we're doing, literally as we speak, breaking the news here. We're changing up packaging. For our reptile box.
Okay.
So we use the industry standards, a white box with green letters on it, so, perishable, blah, blah, blah. And we looked at that and we said, like, all the top flaps that close, they're all blank.
Yes.
There's opportunity there on these blank flaps. And so what we've done on the interior flaps, the ones you fold down and then cover over, right? On the interior flaps, we have just sent to the printer for new plates. We're going to include our temperature guidelines on the flaps.
Nice.
And the heat pack guidelines on the flaps.
Okay.
And packaging tips on the flaps.
Yeah.
So that new shippers or neophyte shippers, which is a lot of our customer base, you can find that information, what temperatures, how to ship in the winter, how to ship in the summer, how to use heat packs. You can find that information on our website. But now to be able to find directly on the box that you're using to pack, and you have something right there while you're packing to remind you what are your temperature ranges, what are the dangers, what are the concerns. I mean, granted, it's shipping nerd stuff, but for me, I love it.
Well, and that's why you're the guy doing the shipping. This just came into my mind. This is where I thought you were taking it. You're like the king of branding. Your brand is everywhere, and it's fantastic. And I love being a part of it because that's what I want to be aligned with. What opportunities would you offer? Could you offer for somebody, say Proper Royals? I thought you were going to offer a branded box kit. Like I could order a kit of shipping boxes. Bam, Proper Royals already branded. Is there anything like that, or could
There
you?
is.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it there. I'm reading the room. We'll leave it there.
There is. No,
But,
I'm
excited
working on
if that's
that
the
as
case.
well.
Yeah.
So I've talked to a couple different breeders,
Mhm.
and we're going to be. People approach me and they want to get their own custom box.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get my own box that says Proper Royal screen printed on it.
Yeah.
I can do that for you.
Mhm.
Adam. I can totally do that. You're gonna have to order 1,500
And you
boxes.
say it's an economy of scale, right? Yeah, that's the problem. So
That's
the buying
tough.
power and the buying leverage on
But you know what we can do?
it. What?
My partner Rich, Reptile Basics, is where we warehouse all of our supplies. And
Yep.
it ships out of the warehouse in North Carolina. A couple of years ago, for different uses and different projects, we bought a large format printer, so we can print whatever we want.
Yeah.
4 feet wide,
Oh,
by
really?
60 feet long if we wanted to.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we're going to be doing is printing a decal that can go on the blank side of the box.
Yeah.
Because there's arrows on opposite sides, which is
Mhm.
perishable this way up.
Up, yeah.
One side has the lacy label.
Yep.
So you can label as interstate transport of live animals. You're supposed to label for species and quantity,
That's right.
and market wildlife, live harmless animals.
Mhm.
But there's a blank side of the box.
Yeah.
And so what we will be doing is I'll be able to offer a very affordable, nice decal, like a 5x5,
Yeah.
that can say Proper Royals
Mm-hmm.
with your mug on it, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Or a snake, maybe, if you want that instead.
Might look better, but yeah.
And that can go on your box and add a level of customization to your box.
Yeah. Nice.
And I'll be able to do that for any event.
Wow.
And I'm talking about quantities of like 20.
Right. 20, 50, 100 that,
Yes.
yeah.
Much more attainable than trying to ask you to order 1,500 boxes.
Right. Which, of course, keeps. It's funny because those sorts of situations keep the little people out, but the tens of thousands of little people are what float all of our businesses at scale.
You know how you grow your business, Adam?
Those people.
That's how I grow my business, yes.
Yeah.
But do you know how those people grow their business? By marketing themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of small folks. There's a 1,000 small folks out there.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate yourself from your competitor?
Right.
You're a ball python breeder. Let's pretend I'm still a ball python breeder.
Yeah.
We breed largely the same thing.
Yeah.
So how do we differentiate between each other?
We have to answer
Quality?
that question in business, right?
Presentation.
Yeah.
Customer service. The experience.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
But a very key part of that is in that presentation part.
Right.
The branding of it, the marketing of it, your logo,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Your visuals and your graphics, those are all important.
Right.
So when you add all of those important details together,
Mm-hmm.
and so that when somebody thinks, oh, it's time for me, I need to get a new ball python, the first thing that comes to their head would be Proper Royals.
Yeah, some muscle memory of seeing that
That's
logo.
what you want.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what you want.
Very nice.
And there's folks that do a great job of that.
Oh.
Canova does a great job of that.
Yeah.
Bob's Balls does a great job of that.
Stephen and Courtney, Leviathan Snake.
Leviathan does
They're like the new big splash, right?
They do
And they're
a great job
at
of
it. Great
And-
at it.
okay. I mean, it's not easy. You cannot take it for granted. And you do have to bust your ass at it.
Yeah.
But in our competitive market, that's what makes you stand out.
Right.
And so, yeah. If you put your name on the side of a box, it's not going to make you a millionaire.
Right.
It's not going to solve all your problems. But it's one more aspect that
One more
makes
time
you
they see it.
one more branded opportunity
Right.
to get yourself in front of a potential customer. Not even a customer.
Yeah.
A potential customer is all you want.
Right.
The hardest part is just getting the eyeballs looking your way, or getting their foot right in your door.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to seal the deal.
You still got to deliver.
Make
But
it happen.
yeah,
You
that
still got to happen.
starts the
But the
conversation.
hardest part is just to get them there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that branding is important. That market is important. So anytime I can work to help folks improve that aspect, or how we can best support people.
Right.
To your point earlier, the more people they sell more animals and they ship them, it's good for me.
Right. Yeah.
So what can I do to help my clients and my customers sell more, reach more people,
Right.
grow their business. I mean,
Yeah.
that's shit. I've been doing that for decades, and I love doing that. I love to see people succeed. I love to see people grow.
Yep.
I talked to a girl today. She's local here in Colorado. She's been breeding crested geckos for a couple of years.
Uh-huh.
And this year is when she decides she's going to start selling.
Wow.
And so she came up. She was like, the shipping thing I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it, but I've decided I want to start, selling babies,
Yeah.
which means I've got to start shipping.
You got to get them out there.
What do I do?
Yeah.
And so we spent 15 minutes on the floor here talking about what are the steps to get you there. How
Right.
can I give you the confidence, which is what she really was looking for,
Right.
to feel like I can ship them safely and effectively and get there. So I love that person. I love being able to help them achieve their goals or chase their dreams.
I can attest to it personally, but also every show I've ever done with you, which is 3 or 4 now,
Getting there.
I see you maybe 10% of the time, and it's because 90% of the time you're so actively engaged with the customers. None of this like, oh, the cool kids are over here, so I'll hang out there. It's getting out there. It's that first time shipper. It's hell, a year and a half ago when my podcast was going, and then finally I knocked enough times. You're like, geez, all right, what do we do with this guy? Because he's not going to go away. So what do we do with him? And it
really was your persistence.
Well, and I hope I was always respectful and all of that.
100%.
But I did knock several times for sure.
100%. I mean, to throw it back there.
Yeah.
We had to say this Adam guy, he is persistent. And I love that.
Well, and you gave me, I am always a believer in accountability. You gave me, I opened up pulling the curtain too far back, but you said, you know what? Here's your own promo code. Let's see what you do with it. And then we'll talk in 30 days. And I was like, thanks. You give me an opportunity. You give me a target. I'm going to go take every shot at I can. And that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to it's more than I wanted, dude, more than I was ever, but it was great.
And within 30 days, within 60 days, I was like, Adam's that dude.
Yeah.
I could be associated with him and move forward, and we could do some cool shit.
Thank you.
Not everybody can do that.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that. And maybe they don't follow through.
Yeah. Or in 3 weeks, the excitement's worn off, and they're like, well, I'm bored. What do we do? No, you got to keep at it.
That happens.
It does.
But, to be able to make great connections. I mean, this goes back to my Reptile Report days.
Mm-hmm.
The focus was always supporting great people doing great work.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it. It's easy.
It is. It all
So
comes back
easy.
to that. Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
And in our industries, there's a ton of great people doing great work. So I love it.
Where are you off to next if people want to meet you in person? And of course, Redline shipping, easy to get to, but where can they come see you in person if they want to?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm ending a run of shows.
You've been on a long run.
Yeah. So I've got like 6 weeks off now.
Good
coming
for you.
up.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Which isn't off time. It's just not on the road in front of people. Yeah.
It's not on the road at shows.
Right.
So now I have a 6-week window with no book travel right now, and Brian Potter wants to go on a sushi trip, and we want to go visit the Zumet facility out in San Luis Obispo, which happens to be where Brian Cusco's at. So we can connect with him out there.
Yeah.
I've got some great folks in the Bay Area. Summer at the shop. I want to go visit her.
Yeah.
I've got folks in the LA area, Portuguese Python.
Yeah.
Our new guy, Jalen Turner in the UFC. He's brand new. He's not brand new. He's been doing animals for a while. He's getting into it.
We did talk. We talked
bigger
6 months
I'd
ago.
like to visit with him again. And then I want to work my way north up to Tacoma and visit with Tyler's Spider Shop.
Yeah.
So that could easily turn into a 10-day trip.
More than that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, I'm not traveling for shows,
Mm-hmm.
which means there's a window open. I can do that.
Right.
So, I might hit the road again. My wife is going to hate it. I haven't told her yet. The next show for me is probably Pomona.
Okay. And you do the big ones. You'll be at Pomona,
I'll do the big ones.
all the
I do
NARBC
Super Show stuff.
Yeah.
I do all the NARBC stuff.
Right.
I'm not going to go to Anaheim.
Okay.
Super Show. I think AJ is doing that one.
Gotcha.
For us. I've got some really great staffers that can do shows.
Yeah.
We got Jackie West, who's based on the West Coast.
Nice.
as opposed to Jackie East on the East Coast. Jackie West does those super shows, California shows, and so they're so pro at it that they don't necessarily need me.
Right.
So I might skip Anaheim for myself. Redline will be there, but I'll probably go out to Pomona.
Yeah,
they've got something interesting going on with the whole pet fair. So they have reptile segment. They've got a pavilion for dogs and cats. They got a pavilion for aquatics. They got a pavilion for plants.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean, I tell you, man, plant thing is
blowing up. Yeah, it is blowing up.
It's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be a learning curve.
Yeah.
But I think by next year you're gonna see a ton of shows will have plant vendors. So that'll get us through midsummer, and then I'm just gonna try to take a bunch of deep breaths because once September comes, it's the fall show push, and it's just
and it's hatchling season. Everybody's shipping hatchlings.
Yeah,
business going to shoot, right?
For shipping, busiest months of the year, September, October, and then actually into November. So yeah, that's peak shipping time. But yeah, last fall I did a run. I think it was 11 weeks. Yeah, and I think there was 2 weekends I was not on the road. So 11 weeks straight, couple of breaks. And that's just, I leave Thursday and I come back Monday night.
Right.
Try to catch up Tuesday, Wednesday. Then I leave Thursday and I come back Monday night.
Yep.
Try to catch up Tuesday, Wednesday, which never works. And then back up. So that was a tough one. I got worn out.
Yeah.
And fortunately my team was there
to
kind of spell me a bit and cover for me some. But mentally I'm gearing up. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
You can't just sit home.
What are you gonna sit home for? We get only a finite number of days on this planet. Go make
you gotta get after it. Yep. And there's just so much cool stuff happening in the industry. I'm really excited about it. I think this is going to be a very good year for our world. And I tell you, with guys like Nick and Troy, which this is the first show they've done here in Denver.
In a blizzard.
I don't know if I'm talking out of turn with this. Yeah, it's not a blizzard. It's
a guy from Florida.
It's a slushy afternoon. I don't know if I'm talking out of turn. Hopefully I'm not pulling curtain back too far. They've talked about doing a show in Tennessee. They've talked about doing a show in North Carolina.
Right.
They want to, take this all-American Reptile Plant Expo across the country. And frankly, if they execute it like they're doing here,
I was going to say, if this is the blueprint, watch out.
Yeah.
Robyn,
great job.
Thank you so much. Thanks
man.
for this opportunity. Thanks for your time. I know you're a busy man, as we've been talking about. Guys, take care of Redline Shipping. I promise they take care of you. Price, value, experience, and
customer
the team.
Service.
Yeah.
We're here to support you, and I will be supporting Adam by stuffing him with more and more food. That's what it's all about. To pull the curtain back again, Adam really hasn't eaten today because we fed him so much
last night. Oh my gosh!
It ended up with banana splits at my house by my wife.
Nikki, fantastic.
Oh, yes. And so, he tapped out this morning. He was like,
I don't want anything. I'm good.
Because we have a big dinner tonight with Troy and Nick and a bunch of vendors. It's going to be awesome. And, then we'll just roll you into your hotel room and put you in a coma. And hopefully you'll wake up in the morning.
Do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. You just won't sleep 36 hours. It's going to be crazy. But
thanks so much.
It comes with the gig.
I know. Yeah, what a complaint, right? It's such a tough life, huh?
So much good food. Oh, my God.
All right, Robyn. Let's say goodbye to everybody. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the support. And thanks again to All American Reptile Plant Expo and Redline Shipping.
Thanks, y'all.
Cheers, guys.